My name is Raven Miller. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Burleson, Texas. I'd come home from school one day and my mom had heard from a friend of mine, or a suspicion that I was pregnant. And so she went to Walmart, bought me a pregnancy test, threw it at me and said, "You better take this." I said, "Okay." So I did, and once I found out I was pregnant, I completely denied it, and I didn't want to believe it. And so the next day we went to Pregnancy Aid Center and they confirmed my pregnancy. I was nervous whenever I walked through the doors at Pregnancy Aid Center. The people behind the desk, they're very loving and caring. They really wanted to help. Right after they told me I was pregnant, and they actually suggested a sonogram to make it more real. And once they did that, I could see a small baby on the screen. Of course, after finding out that I was pregnant, I was worried because I'm 17, I'm still in high school, don't know much about being a parent, don't even know much about pregnancy. When the Burleson Pregnancy Aid Center told me about my options and everything like that, it felt like someone was understanding. It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. They took care of everything. They set up an appointment with Gladney for me to, view the dorm and talk to a few people that would also be there while I was living in the dorm. In the beginning of my pregnancy, I had to put in my mind, this is what's going to happen with the baby. And even though I'm not going to have basically a reward after my pregnancy, that I'm going to be okay. The father of the baby was not included because he was not for the adoption. Of course, that was hard, but it was just something that I had to do for the baby. I waddled out into the living room to figure out. I sat there and I said, "I think my water broke," and almost every girl was like, They told me, "Well, we need to get you in for a C-section." I heard 2 sneezes from the baby, and then he started crying, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my baby." When I was at Gladney, I had a caseworker, and her name was Lisa, and she had sat down with me early on in my pregnancy to figure out exactly what I want in my baby's parents. I knew that this particular family was going to care and love my child. His name is Andrew. After I had gotten out of the hospital, I had gotten a phone call from the birth father's lawyer stating he wanted to claim paternity rights. The whole entire adoption was completely stopped. I've been preparing myself this entire time throughout my pregnancy to detach basically from this child that's mine. I immediately thought back to Pregnancy Aid Center, how open they were, and they had let me know before, if this was my choice to parent, that they would have parenting classes for me to go to, also with counseling and any other help that I would need. There was a lot of comfort knowing that the Burleson Pregnancy Aid Center would still be there for me once I got home, and they would understand and take me in with loving arms again, and to help me figure out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to parent, and what my life would look like. 2 days before Andrew was supposed to come home with me, the birth father had come up to Gladney and said he wanted to completely relinquish his rights. The adoptive mom was so excited because it was her birthday and said, "This is the best birthday present ever," and it was a very happy time for them, and I'm glad that they got to experience that on such a special day. Placement day was very emotional. I got up super early, got prepared mentally. Once the adoptive family came in, the adoptive mom ran in there, "Raven! Oh my gosh!" So excited. It was a great feeling and a great peace to know that they were so loving, so open. They were great people. I had chosen the right family. Every month, the adoptive parents send me a bunch of pictures and a long letter explaining what he'd been going through at this time, how his doctor's appointments have been, what's he start eating, what he discovered next. I created a beautiful life, and I created it basically for someone who couldn't, have that opportunity to make life again. This past Christmas, I was very emotional because it was Andrew's first Christmas, and I wasn't going to be there Christmas morning. I wasn't going to share that experience with him. And my parents kind of knew that, in the beginning, that I was going to be hurting that day. I got a necklace box. When I had opened the box, I had discovered that it had his name on it and a few other charms. There was one with his birthstone for September and his birthday on the back, and then there was a heart that says forever in my heart. And I saw that and I started crying. It was an emotional time, and also for my parents, because they knew that I had been going through so much. This is it, and I wear it almost all the time. I feel like the world screams abortion because it's a quick fix and you don't have to worry about it later on. I feel like this experience has made me a stronger woman and hopefully can show other women that it's not easy, but it is the right thing to do. Once you're so young, there's not much you can do for that baby, and there's not so much you can do for yourself. My message to anyone who's considering to donate to the Burleson Pregnancy Aid Center is, had I not gone, I wouldn't have known about adoption. To anyone who's ever donated to the Burleson Pregnancy Aid Center, on behalf of my family and from Andrew's family, thank you so much.